guys, good to see you and welcome back. As you can probably tell by the title of the video, this is your first drum lesson, how to play Billie Jean. I wasn't going to do a video like this, but I get asked so much by people and from parents and from young students about the first, drum groove that they should be playing and how they can do it and all this sort of stuff. So this is going to be a very quick lesson. So there's three ways that I use to get people to play the Billie Jean groove, okay? As a general overview, the Billie Jean groove is beats 1 and 3 on the bass drum, 2 and 4 on the snare drum, and 8th notes, quavers, depending on what side of the river you're on, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and on the hi-hat, okay? And that goes like this. Ideally, we want to marry these guys up together, your vocalization with your playing. So you want to be saying 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and as you play that. The reason why is because we want to engage this. So all those people that say, yeah, I'm counting in my head, thinking about dinner or whatever, it's no good, okay? We want that out. We want that out. Once it's out, it becomes real in this independence exercise. So there's three ways. If you can't access that, if that's a struggle, that's difficult. If you find yourself right, then here's method one of doing it. 1 to the and of 2 is exactly the same as 3 to the and of 4 in this groove. And is the same as 3 and 4. So we can cut that counting system in half and just go from 1 to the and of 2. If you find that difficult or a bit of a challenge, then we can move down and we can now start actually saying the parts of the drum kit that are going to be playing. So we're going to keep all the ands where they are, but the 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s, we're now going to mention the drum. So beats 1 and 3 will be on the bass, 2 and 4 is snare. Okay, so we'll now go from this wicked. Normally people start to get it on that one, so then what you want to do is then move back up. So from bass and snare and to 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and to then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I think some of us advanced drummers or people that have been playing for some time take this for granted that we can actually count and play and do things like that. When we really think about it, when we're first starting off playing, we've got to remember what the drum parts are, that we're actually saying something while we play it as well. That's a lot going on. So being able to say bass and snare and bass and snare and is a great way to get into the whole system, the whole method, right? And then you move up. So you go bass and snare and bass and snare and bass and snare and bass and snare and there's Billie Jean. Now, very quick drum tip, if you want your playing to sound nice and smooth, a bit professional, nice and groovy, best thing to do is to make sure that you're playing, your limbs that are playing are together. So if your right hand and right foot, okay, need to be together, then make sure they are together and they're not flammed. Same with your right and left hand, that they're together and not flammed. You can make the most simplest of things sound really nice just having your limbs working in harmony together, right? Dynamics is key. So I hope that's useful. That's a really quick lesson on how to play Billie Jean, your first drum lesson. And if you're thinking about going to someone for drum lessons and it's your first time, or you've never had drum lessons before, or you're a kid, or you're an adult that's never played before, then follow along to that, because then if you can go and say, hey, I can play along to Billie Jean, that's a nice little step up, and it shows the drum teacher or whoever's teaching you that you've done a little bit of homework and a little bit of research. So hit me up in the comments below, let me know if this has been helpful, or pass it on to someone who might benefit. And as always, thanks. We sort of take this, we take this for granted. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The Billie Jean groove is B